All right, so we have Saurabh saying that he wants to do data development using Python and understanding neural networks for performing machine learning. That's pretty cool. I'm curious to know about rest of the participants as well. Why do you wish to learn Python? Is it just for, since the field is pretty interesting, or are you working on some kind of research work? Is that the reason why you wish to do Python? Or is it part of your curriculum as a part of your, um, let's say, undergraduate degree or your master's degree? So for those participants who have just joined, I was just chatting up with the rest of the participants to know about their educational background, such as is it computer science or life science background? And I was also asking, why do you wish to learn Python? So let me know in the chat as well for those participants who have just joined. Right, so we have one participant, Suli, was saying that I'm currently a PhD student in neuropharmacology. I am interested in drug discovery and drug repurposing, and I just finished the Omics Logic Introduction to Bioinformatics. So, what is your current knowledge of Python? Do you consider yourself a beginner or medium, or is it advanced? How would you rate your uh, present skills in Python? All right. And Nitish Kumar says he's a beginner in Python. Could you please also let me know what is your educational background? Are you from computer science or are you from a life science background? All right, so I can see that a lot of the participants are from a life science background. And please let me know in the chat. And with that, I'd like to start today's webinar. So hello everyone, a very warm greeting to one and all. My name is Sri Gauri Krishnakumar, and I would like to welcome you all for today's webinar on biomedical data science in Python. This program will cover practical and conceptual aspects of machine learning in application to high-throughput biomedical data using various tools in Python. Throughout the program, students will get an understanding of the opportunities and limitations of machine learning in the context of preclinical and clinical research. And the program is designed as a combination of online resources, practical assignments, and live workshops that will be conducted online. And in today's webinar, we will first sign up on the Omics Logic Learn portal and learn how to navigate through the various courses that are associated with today's program.
Excuse me, Sri Gauri.
Yes.
I guess your screen is not moving.
Yes, it's the first biomedical data science slide. Let me check.
It's not full screen, yeah.
Is it moving now?
Is it moving? It's moving, but it's not full screen. Could you please see if it's?
Let me just reshare my screen.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
So how about now? Is it still visible?
Yes, Sri Gauri, it's visible. You can.
Yes, Sri Gauri, you can continue. Yeah, it's now fine.
Okay, thank you. And in today's webinar, we will first sign up on the Omics Logic Learn portal and learn how to navigate the various courses associated with Python. Followed by this, we will have a hands-on session by the program mentor. And finally, the participants will be introduced to the registration process and program cost. So before we begin with today's webinar, let me also take a brief moment to introduce you to the team behind the program. We are a US-based bioinformatics company who is working with multiple academic and commercial collaborators to develop easy-to-use analytical tools, and our mission is to make bioinformatics more accessible. And as a part of the program, students will have access to the Omics Logic training that has been completed by over 24,000 participants from 187 countries in over 300 workshops. And due to this fast growth, our team is working with local and regional coordinators that are helping refine local program logistics and adapting them to the needs of students and researchers around the world. And this training has been completed by participants in 6 different specialization tracks that includes oncology, infectious diseases, precision medicine, neuroscience, data science for biomedical data, and comprehensive training on omics data analysis. And students will also have access to the Omics Logic resources. But how does it help advance bioinformatics teaching? Omics Logic is a portal for practical and theoretical learning of bioinformatics. It takes a combination of training modules, data analysis tools, curated project data sets, and interactive sessions with mentors to give the student a clear path up the Bloom's taxonomy pyramid. And no matter what the user's initial experience with bioinformatics is, Omics Logic is a useful tool for gaining a baseline knowledge of the theory behind bioinformatics, analysis of large data sets, and introduction to basic coding languages like R and Python, or even beginning a data analysis project. And this also comes with an access to the example projects of different fields, which you could learn from and replicate for your research work. And users will also be given directions to access the tBioinfo platform for bioinformatic processing and analysis of data. And the platform includes demo pipelines as well as data management and analysis cloud infrastructure to run the bioinformatic pipelines. And different stages of analysis are performed in different sections on this multi-omics platform. Another important resource that you will get as a part of the program is access to the Omics Logic Code Playground, which will help you develop coding skills while learning popular packages in Python to visualize, annotate, and analyze complex patterns in biological data. In addition, you will also get access to the Google Colab notebooks as a part of the training program. And with so much data available on any biological topic and question, completing a program seems like a great opportunity, but it can be challenging. And that is why you also have the opportunity to seek mentor guidance and learn alongside an international community of bioinformatics and data science enthusiasts. Now, as a part of the biomedical data science in Python program, you will be mainly going through 3 major coursework, which includes getting started with bioinformatics. This is suitable for those participants who do not have a previous background in Python. And here in this course, you will be learning data visualization, reading DNA replication, and reverse complements using Python. And once you have finished gaining a basic knowledge of Python, you can next advance to data science courses. And to learn logical aspects of data science, one can refer to the machine learning for biomedical data course, which will teach you about the statistical methods where unsupervised and unsupervised machine learning methods will be used for analyzing biomedical data. Followed by this, we will be going one step further and learning more in depth about the data science using Python. And here elements of data science such as data wrangling, visualization, statistical analysis, and machine learning will be taught much more in depth using Python. And so now to view the various courses and example projects on the Omics Logic Learn portal, you need to first sign up on the portal. Before that, let me walk you through a brief demo on what a completed profile on the portal looks like. So once you sign up on the Learn portal, these are the features that you need to update on your account, which includes a profile image, full name with appropriate capitalization, link to your social media handles, a brief bio about yourself that will consist of your educational background and research interest. And the mentors can view your activity under the Activity tab. The courses you are currently completing will show up under the Courses tab. And finally, once you complete the courses, the certificates will appear under the Certificates tab. And so now with that, let us begin by signing up on the Omics Logic Learn portal. I am sharing the link to the Learn portal in the chat box. All right, so for now, those participants who do not have a previous account on the portal, let me show you how you can sign up. So you can simply click on the tab that says Create an Account option that you see here. And here you can simply enter your name, email ID, and give a password. Or you also have the option to log in using any of your social media handles. So this could be your Google, Facebook, Apple account, GitHub account, or even Twitter. And for those participants who already have an account on the portal, you can simply click on Login Now option and sign in. And so with that, I would like to pause for a couple of seconds so that the participants can sign up on the portal. So once you have done sign up on the portal, please put a yes in the chat box. And if you already have an account on the portal, please put a done in the chat box so that I can get a fair idea about the participants. I'll pause for a couple of seconds. I'm monitoring the chat. All right, Munal says he is done. Please make sure to sign up on the portal so that along today's webinar, the program mentor will be showing you the various resources that you will be getting as a part of the program. And to take a look at it, it will be important that you have an account on the portal. All right, so we do have few done in the chat box. All right, I'm waiting for the 45 plus participants to let me know. All right, so I do have a couple of yes in the chat box. So I'm going to sign in on the portal since I already have an account on the portal. But along the way, if you're having any queries, please put them in the chat box. So once you sign up on the portal, this is the main page that you'll be seeing. So here, when you scroll down, you'll see a search bar that asks for looking for a specific course. So here you can simply enter the keyword that you're looking for. So for instance, if you're interested to look for Python courses, simply enter the keyword Python and that will show up the various courses and example projects that makes use of the Python. So here is the first course that I was talking about, where for those participants who are new to the field of Python, then you can get started with this course. I'm sharing the link in the chat box so that participants can take a look at it. And this course, the Python 2 course, is much more advanced, and this is for participants who already have a prior knowledge of Python. So you can go through it and have a look at various courses and example projects that are there. So now going to the part where you need to update your profile. For this, you need to click on the tab that says Welcome Back with your email ID. So once you click here, you will see an icon that says Profile. So once you click on this, you will be able to update your profile image. You can put your full name, make sure that it is in proper capitalization, add a bio about yourself. Here I've added my educational background and my research interest. And finally, you can link your social media handles as well. So in my case, I've linked my LinkedIn account and my org ID. All right, and so with that, I'd like to pause for a couple of seconds. If the participants have any queries, please let me know. All right. So with that, now I'd like to pass on the stage to the program mentor, Dr. Raghavendran Lakshminarayan, who will be explaining much more about the program details. So over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sri Gauri. Yeah, and let me set up my screen share and continue. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
This is a program page that you will get more information in this program page later. So before proceeding, so let's ask how many of you have some prior experience in coding or in Python generally, or coding is also good. You can start recording your responses to me in the chat. I'm following the chat. If you are an absolute newbie to coding or to Python, you can start by entering 0, 1 or something. Then if you are decent enough in Python to take some very basic calculations, and yeah, make some very basic calculations, that's just 5. If you are expert like or moderately expert, like taking codes from elsewhere, like Stack Overflow or other pipelines, and then modify that for you, then you can enter 7 or 8 depending upon your expertise, right? And okay, so I see a lot of entries at 0, so welcome to a new world of Python, I can say that. And some entries at people who have some exposure to Python generally. So I believe those who have entered 5, and Clement, very nice to see you. And people who have entered 5 knows how to install Python in your computer, right? So that's good. So we need to do that at some point of time for your own data analysis, also for reproducibility of some of the analysis. I will show you how we are going to go over some of the resources in this program, right, as we go along. So let's start with absolute basics of what to do if you are an absolute newbie in Python, right? So Sri Gauri actually went through this a little bit, so let me go over this one more time. So we have a Python introduction course 1. So you go to Omics Logic courses, and I think there are a couple of yes, there is Python introduction course 1. So I'm copying the link from there and then placing it in my, and then starting it. Okay, let's go over this one, and this is for people who wants to get started with Python. So this starts with how to introduce or how to install Python in your place, and etc., right? And it stops at, for example, what Python can actually offer you, right? So it gives you a good confidence booster or how to use Python for some basic calculations, right? And all of these data sets that we are going to deal with is going to be biologically related. Right? Okay, so if you go to the first lesson, the first lesson's aim is to help you understand how to load data into Python's environment, which we will also see. But before that, there are multiple ways of acquiring Python to your computer, so which you should know. So this is what we will be covering in this lesson, right? So for example, Python can be installed, and then you can use Python for your analysis in an interactive development environment like VS Code, or something like Anaconda, or something like associated resources, like you can set up your browser to access Python in a Jupyter Notebook kind of environment, right? That is obviously what you see here, but we can also make use of online resources like Google Collaboratory Notebook. that will actually help you to develop your code in an environment that can be shared with your peers, shared with us mentors, and shared with others, so that assignments can be completed and we can check that. So most of this courses and the sessions involved will have two forms of interacting with Python, right? One is interacting with Python from the learnomicslogic.com portal itself. So let's go over that first. So in this portal, the aim is going to be extremely simple, right? All the code related lessons will start with an introduction or with the aim of how to perform this analysis, right? In this specific lesson, the aim is to make you familiarize with Python. So the introduction starts from installing Python. And then following that, we will have sections of learn the code and try it yourself. Learn the code and try it yourself blocks, where first in the learn the code section, we give information on the code as code blocks given in black environment and color coded by Python's syntax color coding, followed by what happens or what is different constituents or parts of this specific code, right? And we explain the each and every nuts and bolts of this code in these code blocks, right? So if this particular code is going to involve importing some of the packages and modules into Python's environment, then we describe that. So what does the keyword import do? And what does pandas mean? And why do you have to give it a name? So we deal with that. And then following this, everybody has to learn at some point of time the way the objects and the way in which Python is actually going to interact with your data, right? We will go over this extensively when we are going to discuss our first session. But to give you a small overview, you can load the data, numerical data or tabular numerical data as matrix, or you can load, for example, data that consists of some columns which are character oriented, some columns which are numerical oriented, and some other columns can be, for example, logical oriented, right? They can be, excuse me.
So you are not audible.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So, so how Python is going to interpret with your data. So let's say that we are going to take a typical data, omics data that will have, for example, 1 or 2 columns of character columns. And then the rest of this is going to be numerical oriented. Some of your columns could be logical, like true or false, right? So data frame is one of the object which is going to suit loading your data into this kind of an object, data frame will accommodate columns of different data types into one environment, which is not possible in a matrix or which is not possible in an array. As matrix and arrays are actually reserved for data types or data of uniform data types. So most of the time or all the time, we are going to load omics data type into a data frame. And then comes how to access elements of the data frame. So that we will also discuss. So in this lesson is going to deal with only one aim, right? How to load your file into a Python's environment and how to view it or how to display it. So you have different ways of doing that or different syntaxes of doing that. You can use, not different syntaxes, you can use a different, for example, functions to input and load different file formats. You can load file formats that is of the file that is of the format text, and in that sense, in that case, you have to mention where is my file, and then you have to describe some characteristics of my file, right? For this function to be able to interpret your files, right? What are the characteristics, absolutely necessary characteristics that I have to describe, like how 2 columns are separated. So in this case, this separation can be a tab oriented separation or tab delimited separation, or it can be comma delimited separation like comma here CSV, right? We can use both. or we can also use any other special character. Sometimes in the omics data, comma is often used for the description of the header or some other uses. In that case, semicolon is often used. So you can also use a semicolon here, depending upon what your data is, right? And one more description of the data, like whether do I have column names for my data or not. So these are all absolutely necessary. But without the location of the file, the rest of the things will not work, right? But even without the rest of the description, this will work by assuming the default values that this function is going to assume. So that we will, you can check it out by taking it out and trying to load this data, right? Where can you practice that? So once you have gone through how to load files into Python, for example, we can use read_excel function, we can use read_csv function, and we can use read_table function. And what are the difference between those, and how can you make use of that? And we can use what are the different data types of my data frame using df.dtypes function. We will also go over in a more practical oriented fashion when we are going to go through the sessions. But here I'm giving you an overview of how you will interact with Python resources from Learn Portal, right? So once you have gone through this code and the background of the code and what different constituents of the code actually giving you, you can try your knowledge in this area, right? In this practice area. So if you have access to this portal, please open this up and we can practice together, right? If we have time, I think we will have time for performing one more practice where we are going to produce some pictures. But for that, I want all of you to be comfortable with this particular lesson. I think, thank you, Sri Gauri, you have pasted the necessary link. Is everybody here? Did you open this particular page? Those who have access to this page? And this page is, by the way, or this lesson is, by the way, left free. Most of the first lesson of any of the courses are left free. Yes, great. So if you have an account, you can easily open this. Okay, great. So go to this try it yourself practice section. So what happens here, right? I'll display or I'll show you how this works. So you can, for example, go home and try it out. Or if you are quick enough and following here, you can also try it out here. So I completely understood what is in the Learn the Code section, like how to import the packages. There are only three sections, there are only three parts in this particular Learn the Code area. How to import the packages, right? Come down, and how to import files. And for example, yeah, view the files as some data types, right? Most likely how to import and view files in Python. So let's go here. So the first challenge is import the necessary packages in this one. So one small background tidbit about this particular page. This page loads Python in your computer, right? Loads Python from Chrome in your computer, and it is designed to work very well with Chrome. If you have latest Chrome, please use it. If you face some problems, please let us know. We will know how to deal with those problems later, right? Okay. So what do we have here? There's a Python console loaded, and there's an option for running, and there's an option for drop file, but we don't have any files here. This is about importing packages. And in this practice section, we have deleted or we have left some of the code incomplete so that you can complete that code and complete your understanding. So for example, if you run this code as it is, let's see what it does. It's going to load Python and it's going to run this code in this console. Try running this code. It will take a while because it's going to load up these libraries. I hope it's really working. Did it reply anything for any of you? It is still kind of struggling to open for me. Did it work for any one of you? No? Okay, you're still facing the same issues. Okay, I think there is some issue with this particular page to load. Okay, let's worry about that. So let's come down one more. So what do we have here? We can actually load this one and complete this. I think let's complete this in syntax. I just want to show you how wrong syntaxes work here. And let's try one more time by pressing import. Now it actually works. If you don't see this spinning square button, then it says it means that it is not loading. So what did I do? I just pressed this, or you can press refresh and start running this particular code. So it's going to take a while to run. It's basically importing these packages or loading these packages. So we wait for this to load the packages. Yes, so now it is success. So I see that I have success running the code, but sometimes the answer is incorrect. That should not be the case here, but it's okay. The success is I get success running the code. I get answer incorrect because this particular code block is not associated with any answer. Okay, so let's move on. I want to load this file into Python's environment and then to display. So what do we do? It says I can right click on this link and save the file in my system and drop the file here so that Python can access this file. Right. So let's do that first. Right click here and save link as. Okay, I save. You can save here. And save to downloads where I can access this from. Okay, and then I have to drop the file here. Let's go. Okay. Here is my own. Okay, my downloads are here, and this is the file that I want to drop. You see the file is dropped here with the same name. Don't change the name so that the name is the Python can recognize us. So if you run it as it is, and let's pause it again and run it one more time. It's going to create an error because there is none of the packages loaded. So we need Python package pandas to load here. So we know the command for importing pandas package. So you can copy it from here, or you can write it, import pandas as PD, because PD is what is mentioned here. So that is done. Okay, I clear this and then run it again. Okay, this is again fighting me. All right, did any one of you get it running? Suddenly it started, it has to give a report an error. So, but unfortunately, it's not doing that if the code is wrong. So there is something changed. Okay, let's complete it. So what happens here? There is some issue with this one, like the separator is not mentioned. So let's mention the separator, and then okay, let's do this. Yes. So now I get success in running the code. The answer is correct. We in the background or in the back end do not have a lot of freedom in how Python is going to interpret, or how Python is going to interpret with your codes. So something has changed in how Python is going to deal with your syntax errors in this code. If there is a syntax error, it looks like Python is not at all going to run, right? Okay, let's do this without any syntax error. So I don't want to include any syntax error. So what happens if I don't give the intended output? That's what I want to show you. So if I clear the console and then run, I get this particular output. I want you to notice what this output is, right? This particular feedback. Success in running the code, but the answer is incorrect. So what does it mean? That means in the code that I have included, or that I have written in the code block is without any syntax errors and is perfectly fine, but the intended output is not being met. So what is the intended output? Import and view the text file. So let's view the text file here. This will also work, for example, if you change something here, right? Yeah, let's run this. Then now I get success in running the code and answer is correct. So if you are successful in until this point, let me know. We will amp this up a little bit, and I will show you how to do some preliminary exploratory data analysis using Python for omics data. So are you successful in following me in interacting with Python using the Learn Portal's code areas? Not running, then you might have some syntax error in your this one. Don't worry if it's not running, because we will have plenty of time to learn why it is not running and how to fix it during our sessions. But I am here to demonstrate you that you have a medium in the Learn Portal where you can learn the code and then complete learning the code by testing yourself against these challenges that we have devised for you in testing the code section. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So somebody asked me to please wait. So while we wait, I want you to go to the Python lesson 2, right? If you go to, for example, go to courses in Omics Logic, okay, and it's going to open up everything. And then inside these courses, we have these tags, right? Bioinfo in Python, right? If you go to bioinfo in Python, the answer is incorrect. So perfect. So that means you might have most likely not fulfilled the separator correctly. So that's one of the reasons why it is actually giving you answer is incorrect. So here you go to Python course 2, right? Let's go to Python course 2. And I'm copying and pasting this particular link for you to access. So inside this Python course 2, so we have left this data wrangling and visualization lesson 2 open to view and open to try it out for all of you for 24 hours. So let's go into this data wrangling and visualization and see what we can use Python's tool for visualization of some of the omics data analysis, right? Omics data inputs. So you have to go through this introduction, which tells you what can be achieved by performing some exploratory data analysis, which is going to give you an overall understanding of what my data constitutes, right? It can involve, for example, creating some concise tables, like how many male samples do I have in my list? How many female samples do I have in our list, right? How many samples for biological condition 1? How many samples for biological condition 2? Right? So those things that we can definitely enter. So, and how do we load, for example, an omics data into a Python's environment? Follow along. This is exactly the same syntax. Nothing has changed here in the first 2 lines, right? Only except the link for where to find the input is, except for that, nothing has changed in this particular line. Okay. Okay. So, and what else does it do? Let's click on this download full table here and see what this table actually gives us. Looks like, right? Save link as again. Okay, we can save link here and go to my finder again. So we will use it somewhere else, right? And open it using Excel or numbers, whichever you have access to. Forget about this. It looks like it's a big file. Okay, success. So just like this is transcriptomics data where we have transcript IDs in the first column and their expression levels quantified for different sample types given along the columns, right? These are all transcript IDs for along the rows, and we have samples along the columns. So this is the expression quantification of this particular transcript for this particular sample. Okay, enough of this kind of introduction. We will deal with this more in the sessions. So how to, for example, use some of the visualization option to visualize some patterns in this data, right? We can use heat map, right? We can come down and then use box plot and bar plot. So all these options are available. So if you are still along with me, come to the, for example, the second practice it yourself section, right? Not the first one, second practice it yourself section. You come down, scroll all the way down, you get it here. So practice the core. So here again, we have to load these packages. Let's see that we have loaded this, and this particular section deals with finding, for example, the dimensions of the data. So that's what we can do here. And let's see where we have to make some box plot or something. We don't, yeah, here. Okay, we have a box plot for this here. So let's try to get a box plot done for this, right? So we need obviously to load the data into gene expression, right? So let's see, gene expression will be pd dot read underscore table, and what is that table name is going to be, for example, what is the table name that we have here? Final cell with this one. Okay, exactly the same thing, txt, and separator equals this one, and then header equals 0. Okay, right, and then we give this, I think we have to use plot.box or box plot. Let's check, we can check also here in the learn the code section, and plot.box. Yes, I'm wrong in using box.plot. I have to go all the way there. Okay. So let's use that. Where were we? And we were here, plot.box. Okay, so okay, so we have this one, that's good, and title equals this. Let's see if this one works. We need to, of course, import pandas here. Import pandas as PD, and let's see if this one works. This should work. Let's see. This won't work because I forgot to drop the file, so it's going to throw me an error. And let's drop the file before it throws me an error. See. Okay, it's running the code. Okay, plot.show, box plot is good. So what do we have? Let's run one more time. Let's see. Okay. There is some sort of error somewhere. Gene expression dot box. I think it should do plot. Okay, great. It's a great start. Yeah, let's let's go back and learn our code. Let's do this again. So what did I miss? Okay, this is correct, and this is also correct, and plot.box is also correct, but it's not showing up. Gene expression is not showing up for some reasons. Okay. Okay, let's check that why it is not showing up. But yeah, this is how we interact with this one. I thought it's going to work. In this case, for some reasons, read underscore table. Let's take it out. Let's leave it at default values. Okay. Doesn't have to go this way. What does it say? Okay, Python is not loaded. Let's see. Yeah, I think wait a second. I think it's not loading the libraries. That's one of the reasons. It should actually developer. Let's see, new developer tools. Sometimes the Python fails to load, and if it fails to load, okay, looks like sometimes the Python fails to load. Then you have to go to view developer tools and do this. Okay, for this reason, we also have another way of interacting with the codes as given here, which is going to be most suitable way of interacting with the code for us, like accessing these codes from a Google Collaboratory notebook. So why is this not working? Let's refresh this, maybe then it will work. Waiting for this to refresh. Yeah. Okay, let's kill this. Okay, let's do this one more time by going to course number 2, or we can do the visualization here. But what I wanted to tell you is you can use the visualization option here to visualize, for example, practice report here, or you can, in the end of this, we give access to Collaboratory notebook, which is going to be our, yeah, all the past classes has been from Colab. Yes, I know that. But we don't want to go to Colab right at the beginning, Clement. So that's why we will start with letting you interact with Python in this case. With Python, it's always tricky because Python loads in your local computer. As I mentioned, sometimes this process is prone to, this process is error prone. And it may load or may not load in my computer. So that's why we have the alternative version of accessing or or interacting with Python with Google Collaboratory notebook. So in Google Colab, for example, as given in this particular lesson, so which is what I want to show you in that case, right? How are we going to give you links to Colab, and you can get access or answers from that using where Python is used in some of the example projects or exemplar projects. Most often, or more often than not, Python is going to be used in many of the downstream analysis. So if you click again, bioinfo in Python, and we have these project links. So this is a course, and come down, we have a project here. This is another course, we have a project here. So if you click on this project, this is an example project where we show you how to take data from existing publication or publicly available resources and answer a specific research question. So in that research question might require some of the analysis to be completed using Python. So we can use Python to, for example, take or understand the heterogeneity in single cell data of this breast cancer. So here, for example, we give you what is the input file that we are going to access, and then how to perform this analysis, and what is the output that you are going to visualize when you perform this analysis, right? In the end, you come down, you come to the annotated results, and sorry. Here you will have a link for Google Collaboratory notebook in the assignment section. Yeah, here. Let's see here if it is here. Okay. For example, we can start with the Google Collaboratory notebook here, and then using Colab.2 option. That's going to open up a Google Collaborate notebook. We will get an introduction to what a Google Colab is and how to use this for our area, for our analysis. But mostly If you want to use Python's courses for Google Colab, you can just copy these codes and then paste it in this Scratchpad on this Google Colab, and then we will run this analysis. So that is going to be the default mode of instruction in which you and I are going to interact during the sessions. So I'm going to open up one collaboratory notebook for one session and then take the codes from the lesson and execute it along with you in the Colabs, in the Google Colabs, and then we will compare our results and we will compare our journey through learning Python for bioinformatics data analysis. And you will also learn necessary background for performing this analysis. For example, many of the background might involve machine learning analysis or some structuring of the omics data analysis for different types of omics data. So all of this you will get introduction to, and also you will get necessary resources to try it out. So that's where you will actually start understanding how the data is and what can we do, or what kind of analysis that we can perform for that data to understand the trends and to use Python's excellent libraries to perform some advanced statistical analysis to relate those trends to the phenotypical conditions or different biological state of the samples. So I know some of the Python demonstration did not go through. This is an ongoing problem because Python loads in your computer. Sometimes it loads, sometimes it does not. So that's why we have a collaboratory session involved for each and every one of the session in this program. So if you have any queries related to how are we going to interact with Python and what promises does these courses offer you, please let me know in the chat box. We will get on with it. And if you don't have any questions, that's fine. And I look forward to meet many of you during the course of this program. And I want to pass this on to Sri Gauri or Sparsh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll be taking up now.
Yeah, Sri Gauri, thank you, Sri Gauri.
Oh, we do have a query in the chat from Kajal. Sir, can you give some topics of research for doing PhD in biomedical using machine learning techniques?
That's a separate session itself, Kajal, right? That's a separate session itself, right? You can, for example, I'll give you pointers where to go. We have a course on how to design a bioinformatics project in Learn Portal. So please go through that course. That course is going to show you how you can effectively start figuring out a question that is going to impress or address your interest, or that is going to address, for example, a general public's interest, and that is going to make use of some of the resources that we have, from publicly available sources. So course number 9, how to design a bioinformatics project, is where you should go to, for example, identify some key topics for doing bioinformatics research. Okay?
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Is my screen visible? Hello? Is my screen visible?
Yes, Shrigari, you can see your screen.
Thank you so much. So, so far we covered the basic topics that will be covered for a participant who is new to the Python. And once you get used to the various topics that are covered in Python and you apply the knowledge that you have gained so far on example projects, you can also take one step further and carry out your own independent research projects. So now let us take a look at some of the research projects that the students have carried out using Python. So here we have a cohort of students from Georgetown University who had carried out a diverse range of research projects on topics ranging from infectious diseases, metabolic disorders, neuroscience, psychiatric disorders, and so on. For example, Rohan Harris, he is using Python to identify different expression of genes in asymptomatic and symptomatic COVID-19 patients by gender. And then we also have Rima, who's carrying out her project on metabolic disorders, where she's trying to build machine learning models for accurate prediction of whether the individual has diabetes or not. And then we have Jordan Henry, who is carrying out a predictive model for post-chemotherapy neurodegeneration based on RNA-seq data. And then we also have an ongoing project by Michelle Beat, who is carrying out gene expression changes in at-risk and diagnosed PTSD patients to identify potential treatments. So all of these are some of the ongoing Python projects that are there. I would also like to show some of the completed projects that are there on the portal. So for example, Simpson has carried out a independent research project on brain tumor subtype exploration for candidate biomarkers. I'm sharing the link in the chat box to his project that participants can take a look at and go through. And then we also have Yunju, who has carried out unsupervised clustering and multiple classes of opioid use using Python. I'm sharing the link to her research project as well. And then we have a PhD student who carried out an independent research project on random forest classifier for bacteriocin classification. So all of these are some of the various research projects that have been carried out using Python. So where can you find more of such projects on the portal? That let me take you to the portal once again and show you. So here, when you go to the courses tab, next to it, you'll also see a tab that says projects. So once you click on this, it'll show you the various projects that other students have done. And these could be in various fields such as oncology, infectious diseases, as I described. So the participants can take a look at the various projects that the students have carried out in this link. And with that, I would like to pass on the stage to Sonalika for those participants who are interested to enroll for the program. So the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Sri Gauri, and a very warm good morning or good evening to all of you present here. Now, I would like to show you all how you can register yourself for the program Biomedical Data Science in Python. So here is the link to the program page that you need to visit to register yourself for the program. It's in the chat box. Now, once you're on the program page, if you scroll down, you can first of all find the schedule of the program, which tells how many interactive sessions we are going to have. You have the calendar where the dates are marked. Also, you have all the information here presented here for all the topics that would be covered and the coding lessons that you have to go through as a part of each and every session. Now, these coding lessons are such lessons that Dr. Raghav took you through from the Python coursework that you have to follow along, which has got the concepts, the logic, the syntax, and the practice sessions. You have to submit your assignments and complete the quizzes in these coding lessons. So one session will involve one mentor-guided live session that you will have, and you need to complete these coding lessons as well. Now, the question that was raised in the chat regarding not being available during the duration of the program. So I want to mention that for such people who are not available at the time of the live session, let's say, or at the duration of the program, they can follow the program asynchronously. That means you can go along the session recording. The session recording, the mentor session recording would be uploaded on the program page itself when the session is completed. To give you an example, I'll take you to another ongoing program. So once the session is completed, we put the recording of the session on the program page itself. Once you enroll, you will be a part of the program page where you can watch the recording and go through the resources. Once you complete the session, you click on complete session button and you're good to go or proceed ahead. All right. So for those who are not available at the time of the live session, you can watch the recording. You can watch the recording and take your questions via email, or we are also going to form a Skype chat group. We'll have a Skype chat group set up for all the participants in the program. You can ask your question in that group from the mentor. If Skype chat is not suitable, we can also have a WhatsApp group where you can ask your questions and we'll be glad to assist you. We'll also have some live Q&A sessions in between. So maybe you can try joining those sessions. All right, so that was all about schedule and how you can manage attending the sessions or going through the recordings. Now, when you scroll down, you will find all the details of each and every session on which days they are scheduled. They are generally scheduled on Tuesdays and Fridays of the month of in the month of January. And you have the topics that we'll cover, and also the coding lessons are mentioned here that we'll be following around. The program has got 14 sessions, 2 sessions every week, and we'll be closing the program on March 10th. So that was about the schedule. Now, how do you register yourself? So when you scroll down, you can see 3 different types of subscription levels that you can pick to enroll yourself in the program. One is 45 days, another one is 60 days, and then you have the 90 days of the program duration. Now here, the difference lies in how you can proceed from completing the training program to completing a research project. So in the 45 days, you'll get the access to all the mentor-guided live sessions, and then you'll also go through each one of these resources that are mentioned on the program page that I showed up. And then on the, in the 60 days of the subscription level, you will get one-on-one mentor support to prepare a research proposal that you can further work as a research project that could be published. And in the 90 days of the subscription level, you will be able to complete a research project and have it published. So the difference in these 3 different subscription levels just lies in the time period, I'll say, or the duration. You get extra time period to work on a research project or a research question, applying the skill set that you learn or gain from the specific training program. Now, the pricing here is mentioned in dollars. If you are not from US but a different country, you can scroll up and change the pricing. Let's say I'm in India right now, so the currency would be INR. I can change the currency to INR, and then it would be easy for me to understand what the pricing looks like. Right now, we are offering some good scholarships. So those who are interested to enroll in the program can reach out to us on marketing@omixlogic.com so that we can share the coupon code with you, applying which you will get a good scholarship on the program. Thank you, Shubham. Shubham has shared the scholarship code already in the program, which is Python 50, which will give you a 50% scholarship. You can save it with you and then proceed with your enrollment. All right, so that was it that I wanted to mention. If there are any further questions or doubts, you can ask in the chat box, or you can also unmute yourself and ask, and we'll be glad to assist you.
So we have a query in the chat from Matthew. How long does the early bird offer last?
I think the offer lasts for 5 more days. It's still or till 25th. Shubham, can you please confirm in the chat box how long does the offer last? What is the coupon code availability? Yes, it's up till the yes, thank you, Shubham. It is valid till December 25th. If you talk about the placement assistance, I would like to share this section with all of you here. On the OmixLogic Learn portal itself, if you scroll down at the most bottom part of the site, you'll see job listing. Here we list out specific jobs which requires the skill sets that our portal offers. All right, so once you complete a program, you can find a suitable job based on the specific skill set that you have gained in the program and apply. Yes, it would be available for 45 days. If you pick up the first subscription level, that is for 45 days. Shri Gauri has also shared the link in the chat box for job listings, and I think it would be helpful to all of you, not just Matthew.
And we have one query from Dr. Avinash. How long the course materials are accessible?
So it depends on the subscription type you pick. If it's 45 days of subscription type, then you'll get the access for 45 days. If it is 60 or 90, so it will matter on the number of days you pick or you wish to enroll in the program.
His query is, after opting the subscription, how long the course materials are accessible?
Yes, so if the person takes up the subscription for let's say 45 days, it will be activated for 45 days or accessible for 45 days. That's what I said.
Is it limited accessibility?
Yes, limited accessibility. Once the subscription is over or it's complete, you won't be able to access the coursework, but the link to the session videos remains accessible forever. The live mentor guided session videos. But because the portal follows a subscription model, that's why you won't be able to access the start lessons on the portal once the subscription time period is complete. Such start lessons I'm referring to. I hope that answers your question.
If the participants have any further queries, please let us know in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and let us know. We have a query from Usman. How will this program be useful for plant scientists?
That's an interesting question. So plant scientists also have a lot of data that is coming up from agriculture, and it requires to be analyzed, right? So learning the specific computational language would definitely be helpful to analyze data that comes from different agricultural types. Dr. Raghav, would you like to add to it?
Yeah, I mean, for example, Babar, you have to perform some downstream analysis of this data. So this data is mostly intended to whoever who can perform data analysis on a structured data. So since we are going to, most of the structured data, or almost all of the structured data that we are going to deal with is going to come from biomedical resources. So any data that you can think of, like transcriptomics data, like mutation data, right, like metagenomics data, like metabolomics data, right, like drug response data. So any data, even image data, if you can convert the image data into their respective numerical encoded features. So all of this you can use this data to perform downstream analysis. What analysis is going to give you what kind of result? We will deal with these questions with examples. If your data is going to align with some of the data that we have actually discussed, then you can perform those analysis. Any analysis can actually be performed on in tabular data or structured data, but what we are going to deal with is what to choose at which question, right? Not all the time we are going to use principal component analysis. Sometimes we are going to use nonlinear transformations such as principal coordinate analysis, or something like MDS, NMDS, or something like TSNE. So we will discuss when to use this and why this choice is justified and how you can make use of this knowledge. So when you have understood the logic behind choosing specific analysis and how to perform analysis, and some of the understanding and logic behind some parameters and the values for the parameters that we are going to set, then you can scale up this course to apply to any kind of data that you can get your hands on. So that's how you can make use of this course. If you are going to look, or if you are interested in how to use biological data from plant resources and do some bioinformatics analysis, then you have to, for example, first transform or transfer that biological data into structured data using some of the very well known methods that are available, for example, for transcript expression quantification or variant analysis and other forms of data, that is other forms of analysis that is very well addressed in the other programs like genomics, transcriptomics, metagenomics programs in our port. Please consult that. If you still have any queries, we are free to be approached and reached by support@pine.bio. So give a brief about what kind of data you have and what kind of data analysis that you are expecting to be performed on this data, then we will be able to suggest you more direct and applicable courses and programs. Okay. Thank you, Baba.
Thank you so much, sir. So if the participants have no further queries, we are good to end today's webinar. All right, then thank you everyone for joining today's webinar, and I hope to see you at the program. So have a great day.